This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. The picture you're looking at is me in India. I left the United States in 2007. I've traveled to about 64 countries at this time. I first kept track of my travels in a private travel blog, which I'll share with you if you like. But then I started Vagabond Buddha, which gives more information about each place, cost of living, things to do, best places to stay, best restaurants, best way to get there, video walking tour, and the best travel or retire cheap to paradise locations in the world. Just click the link below this video if you'd like more information about this place. Now here's our video.
This is Dan of Vagabond Buddha. We're in the heart of Mexico City in Plaza de Constitucion, also known as Zocalo. This is the Cathedral of Mexico City, and as you can see, there's a stage here on the right. The Mexican government's put this up so Mexican citizens can watch the World Cup. And over on the right over there is Palacio Nacional, which is the seat of the Mexican government, and we'll take a look at both of those. In the Plaza de Constitution, they have these balls from different companies are sponsoring these. They're all soccer balls with cool painting on the side of them, honoring I suppose, the World Cup, which is happening now in Russia. By the way, the Zocalo or the Plaza de Constitution is where Mexicans come to celebrate and protest. It holds up to 100,000 citizens in this square. Even though it looks a little crowded right now, it's actually quite a big square. I'm inside the Cathedral of Mexico City. The first cathedral was built on this site in 1525 on top of Teocalli, the Aztec rack of the sacrificed human skulls. The remains of about 1,800 indigenous people were found in the basement of the cathedral. The cathedral becomes more disfigured over time as the ground below settles under the weight of the structure. Distortions of the structure are visible to the human eye. There's a 2-meter difference in the degree of settlement of various sections of the cathedral. Here you can see they have placed a pendulum to measure the amount of settlement that's going on here. And each of the columns inside the church itself has a marking of how much it's settled. The cathedral also has 2 of the largest pipe organs in the Americas. You can see them right there. They're back to back. I don't know if you can tell or not from where you are, but see how this chandelier tilts to the right? That's actually the building tilting. The chandelier is straight up and down. For an extra 10 pesos, you can come inside the center room in the church, which has some gorgeous woodwork. And the chairs and benches, I'm sure it's where in the cathedral that the bishop and priests held court, or still do. This is an active cathedral. And of course both of the organs, you can see the backside. It's really a beautiful, well spent dollar. Cathedral of Mexico City. Sorry about all the noise. We're in the Zocalo, and there's the Cathedral of Mexico City. And behind me is the National Palace, which I'm getting to. There's Changhoi. And there's the National Palace. And it's famous for many reasons, which I'll say when I get inside. It's a little loud here. This is the National Palace. The National Palace is the seat of the federal government of Mexico. The palace is located in the main square called Constitucion Plaza, or El Zocalo. The site of the palace has been where Mexico has ruled since the Aztec Empire. Many of the materials used to build the current palace were taken from the previous palace of Montezuma II, that the Spanish destroyed his palace. Cortez wrote to the King of Spain in the 1500s describing how beautiful and ornate Montezuma's palace was. The King of Spain was a jealous leader and had Montezuma's palace destroyed. You must see Rivera's murals on the second floor, which hopefully I can film. I'll show you in a minute if there's with no flash. This is Diego Rivera's depiction of Mexico City. That's the main temple there where the human sacrifice was on the left. And as you can see, there's streets and canals. This city was in a lake. The Spanish drained it, and that's what their troubles are. That's why everything's sinking here. But it was a floating city apparently. Inside the National Palace, there's a nice little collection of stones and artifacts excavated from this area, which some of which is Aztec, some of which predates Aztec, and today it's free. I don't know if it's free every day, but I heard it was a very small fee, but it ended up being free today. It appears the conch is also an important relic here in the Aztec world also. We saw it in Peruvian culture, the Inca. This is a beautiful carved conch with Aztec symbolism. Some very ornate pottery from various societies in this part of Mexico. Both Aztec and pre-Aztec. The duck played a big role in South American relics also. The duck both swims under the water, on the water, and flies. So it's from all worlds. Looks like Spain was unable to get all the gold from the Aztec. Some nice pieces here. Some of these stones almost have a Celtic look to it. On the second floor of the National Palace, there's several murals of Diego Rivera's work representing the history, pre-Hispanic through Hispanic history on the walls. And of course, he's probably the most famous Mexican artist. And so he's been honored with this, placing these murals. And there's also a museum later, the Diego Museum, which we'll see, which has his most famous work in it. This is one of Diego Rivera's most famous pieces here in the National Palace. Here you can see the original people that were here when the Spanish arrived. And then you can see the trouble that happened on his mural as we go from right to left here. The people were killed off and enslaved. The wealthy Spanish ruled under threat of gun for the entire colonial period, really. And that's why Mexico revolted. And it's actually not been all that different since Mexico got its independence. The ruling class just took over here in Mexico and really haven't developed the kind of middle class that you need for a successful democracy. Although they just elected a new president now, they're hoping it can help with that, with education and healthcare and whatnot. Anyway, Diego Rivera's depiction of Mexico is accurate. I think he foresaw Karl Marx's government eventually, as we can see here, which never happened. Templo Mayor Museum. Spain demolished the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan and used the stone building materials to build Mexico City. The Aztec city that Spain destroyed was built in 1325. The Aztec city was built with streets and water canals going north and south. This is the larger relief map of the city. At the intersection of two of the main streets was Templo Mayor, the most important Aztec temple. Templo Mayor was rediscovered in 1978 when utility workers found the massive carved stone of the nude, dismembered body of the moon goddess, Coaxiaqui. The stone is more than 3 meters across, and the excavation now includes the temple grounds and a sports field. This white stone here you're looking at is the dismembered body of the goddess that the utility workers found. And of course, as they began to excavate, there was big resistance from the financial community because this was a financial district here. But the excavations have provided a lot of a better understanding of the Aztec culture and a lot of the pottery and other artifacts that have been found. You can see a little serpent there. I don't know if you can see that snake or not. We heard about this place from a friend, Tacos Arandas. It's actually on the path. It's on the walking path if you need to stop for lunch. Really great prices, great food, everything about it was wonderful. So here's the next stop, Dulceria de Celaya. This is founded in 1874. It has the famous treats from all over Mexico, from the different regions. So Mexicans come here to get a taste of home if they're not from Mexico City. So I thought I would tease you with some of the candies here. Bolos Grandes. I'm not going to know how to pronounce these, but I'll show them to you. This-
¿Esas no vienen envueltas en forma individual? No. Ah, no, pues entonces no. O sea, vienen individual, pero no vienen envueltas.
I mean, in my world, chocolate and coffee are the two favorites. This place is much like it was in 1874. So there's actually two stores in Mexico City I see, but this is the downtown area one, and it's quite nice. I don't see chocolate though. I don't think this can actually qualify as a candy store without chocolate, so I may have to lodge a complaint against the management here. I honestly don't see. Oh, there it is. No, there's no chocolate. Oh, there are some little tiny chocolatinas. Okay, it's legitimate, but not much of a choice. Oh, here's some more over here. Maybe. Oh, look at this, sugar-free candy. Okay, this is legit now. There's a bunch of different chocolates here. So, I'll be able to sleep tonight. Chung Hui found some nail polish she likes yesterday, so she's here to get more colors. So this is a walking street here where most of the major shopping outlets have outlets, and it's a very busy street, as you can see. And we're headed to the next stop, which is the San Franciscan monastery. On this walking street, you're going to see this museum. It's not on the walking tour, but if you're here more than a few days, it's definitely worth a look. It's a gorgeous building. A former residence of one of the wealthiest families in Mexico City, and now it's a museum. That's a Forever 21 store there. Chung Hui found some dresses yesterday for $15. So if you're looking for a cheap place with a lot of selection, it's like 4 full floors of shopping. Okay, next stop is the Church of San Francisco. Here it is. Let's go inside and I'll talk a little. So this is the Church of San Francisco. During its glorious days, it covered several square blocks here of Mexico City. This is where they held Cortez's funeral, and it's also where the independence from Spain was celebrated. After the Roman Catholic clergy lost most of their power over the Mexican government in the Reform War, the monastery of San Francisco was disbanded and most of the property seized by the government. That's why the idols are missing from the church facade in the front here. You'll see there's really nothing. There's perches for statues and whatnot, but nothing here. It was taken by at that time. So this is inside the Church of San Francisco, and there are these remarkable murals on the walls. Just beautiful, and therefore I'll remark. You may also notice that the church floor is uneven. You'll notice it slopes a little. Slopes to the left. And the other thing worth mentioning about this church is that those steps you see outside that step down from the main street into the church, that's how much this church has sunk over the last 300-400 years since it was built. what is that one? I don't know, 12 steps there. This church used to be on the level with the street, and not anymore. So, anyway, it's a remarkable workmanship with an interesting history. So this is the inside of the Blue Tile Palace. So this was a home of a very wealthy family in Mexico City. It dates back to the colonial period, of course, and now it's a restaurant, one of the larger restaurant chains in Mexico City. This restaurant in particular was famous because at the time of one of Pancho Villa's the revolutionaries' victories, he celebrated here. So it's known for that, among other things, along with the history of the wealthy families that owned it. There were two very wealthy families in Mexico City, and their children married. So they combined two residences that were right next to each other and made it even more famous. And now here we are at the top of the stairs, second floor, enjoying the view of the restaurant below. That was a table over there that Pancho, no, just kidding. It was a different restaurant at the time he was here. What do you think, Chung Hoi? Do you like it? Should we move in? Throw these people out of here and call this home? You don't see that happening? This is the pastries inside of the restaurant that we were just looking at. So this is the outside of the Blue Tile mansion that's now a restaurant, and it goes, as you can see, it goes all the way down the city block here. I'll walk you there if people let me cross here. It's actually on the walking path to walk down the side here anyway, so isn't that beautiful? It's has a real Islamic flavor to it. If you've been to Spain, you know what I'm talking about. Spain was quite influenced by the Muslim invaders during the religious wars in Europe. And this building has that flavor. Isn't it beautiful? I don't know if you can see at the top there, but there's little turrets with, see the little blue and yellow balls up there? It's gorgeous. This is the Museo Nacional de Art. The National Museum includes a large collection of celebrating the history of Mexican art. There's also a rotating collection from various arts from all over the world. In front of the museum is an equestrian statue of Charles V, the Spanish monarch just prior to Mexico's independence. On your walk to the next stop, make sure to look inside the post office building for a secret surprise. The walking path takes you right by the post office. Right now you're zoomed in on it. It's on the corner down there. So here's the National Post Office. Chung Hoi actually wants to mail something. I didn't know people still did that, but let's check it out. This building is stands for the opulence of the early part of the 19th century, where the government was willing to put up buildings like this, but wasn't doing so well at educating or feeding the poor. So it's kind of seen as a negative symbol by many. But it's a gorgeous work of art by an Italian architect. And it's withstood the test of earthquakes. A lot of it's metal, as you can see. For For the younger people in the crowd, this is what people used to do. They used to mail things. They would put these stamps on them and send them to different places. Let's see, she has Chichen Itza, Rivera Maya, all from Mexico mainly.
Yeah.
Ecuador, Ecuador.
Yeah.
Galapagos, Cancun, Playa del Carmen. Okay.
Putting the stamp is very old school.
You're putting stamps? What are stamps for?
Stamp for what? Huh?
What do you do with stamps?
What? I don't understand.
Are you? What do the stamps do to the paper?
You have to ask yourself.
Yeah, this is how.
Finally.
This is how people used to send emails to each other, but they were on paper. Changhui is resurrecting an ancient tradition. She's out of the country and sending postcards.
So now is the time that finally I can post my postcard here. International mailbox.
This is the Palace de Bellas Arts, and it's one of the most prominent buildings in the city, and it hosts many important events, theater, opera. It's a museum also, and you should definitely go inside and take a look around. It's a gorgeous building. It's completed in 1932. Between the Bellas Arts building and the Diego Rivera Museum, the path will take you through this beautiful park. This is the Diego Rivera Mural Museum. The museum was built in 1986 to house one of the most important works of art in Mexican history. A mural painted by Diego Rivera on a concrete wall in Hotel del Prado had suffered significant damage during the 1985 earthquakes. That wall, along with many other Diego Rivera's works, were moved to this museum. This is the mural that was moved from Hotel del Prado. These are significant political and social figures throughout Mexico's history, all the way from early times until most recent. So this is the tallest building in Mexico City, and in fact all of Mexico. Torre Latino Americana is the name of it. And this is the last stop on the walking tour. And we're going to go up there and take a look at the view. You're right, it's not a bad view from up here. And you can have drinks or food or both. It's a nice view. I haven't even looked at the menu yet. Wow. You can see the walking street down there. So that's our condo in Mexico City, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, gorgeous newer condo. And there's Changhui. And I just wanted to show you this house. Isn't that cool looking? So at the end of the street there's this little breakfast house where we have huevos rancheros, and then next to it's a little place so you can get chips and Mexican salsas and stuff. And then over here There's a little coffee house with traditional type muffins and stuff. But here's the real reason I'm filming right now. I want you to see these buses. They look like 65s. I had a 65 Volkswagen bus I used to drive to high school. It was old even then. Can you imagine how old it is now?
Thanks for listening to our video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, leave a comment below, subscribe to Vagabond Buddha, or click the link below in the notes below this YouTube video to find out more about this location or all of the Travel Cheap to Paradise locations on Vagabond Buddha. Thank you.